Hello and welcome, culés, to FC Barcelona Central. I am your host, Pedro, and we're only a few hours away onto the summer transfer market officially opens up. This summer is already shaping up to be one of the best in Barca recent years. So today we're taking this time to talk about everything surrounding exits from the club. We're just 2 weeks away from the 2025-2026 season to start. The 2.0 version of Hansi Flick's Barca have generated massive expectation after a nearly perfect first year. With only the Champions League trophy missing, it is only to be demanding. It's going to be a really demanding campaign, and our sporting management is working tirelessly to give the German coach an even better squad than he had before. Johan Garcia is already arrived to be our next starting goalkeeper for the years to come, and Nico Williams should be the next big signing. But at this time, Operation Exit is in full swing. These are the case. These are the case for a few of our players, but although it's not going to be easy, ideally this needs to be resolved before July 13th, the day of our preseason officially starts. This is going to be good for everyone, but especially for Hansi Flick, so he can start working with the player he wants without an uncomfortable situation lingering around. And speaking about uncomfortable situation, the image of four first team goalkeepers training on the first day of the preseason is not ideal. It will also force us to leave our talented youngster off from the reserve team, while Iñaki Peña's departure is also urgent to streamline the squad. It doesn't cause too much concern or discomfort as much as the one of the Marc-Andre Ter Stegen situation. Our captain has made it very clear he intends to fulfill his contract, which expires on June 30th, 2028, and he's not looking to move, despite making it clear that Johan Garcia has arrived to be the new starting goalkeeper. It is precisely this argument that the club might use to push the German departure. A season on the bench will not be ideal for Ter Stegen, especially with the 2026 World Cup approaching. And now that he's finally managed to shake off Manuel's newer long shadow in the German team, this is a case where all signs point to Hansi Flick having to intervene personally, and it is not expected to have a quick resolution. So we're gonna be talking about Marc-Andre Ter Stegen in the few days to come. As for the other goalkeeper case, Iñaki Peña, he hasn't had the best relationship with Hansi Flick either, after the German coach reportedly sidelined him for Szczęsny's renewal, and Johan Garcia signing closed the door for Iñaki Peña totally. However, the teams that have been most interested in him are teams like Celta, Valencia, and Galatasaray, who have already found new goalkeepers or are about to. This complicates the exit, making the situation even more present. As more details emerge, I'll bring all the updates here on FC Barcelona Central. But that is not the only situation that could truly define our summer. Ronald Araujo. He renewed his contract last January when he was most likely to be out of the way of Barcelona. The Uruguayan center back rejected a move to Juventus due to his strong attachment to Barca after a talk with the sporting director Deco, who convinced him that he would remain important. Despite all this, his entourage managed to include a quote-unquote escape clause for 15 days in the transfer market, just in case it needed to be activated. And now that moment has arrived, with teams interested in Barca needing a significant sale, and with Hansi Flick strongly wanting him to stay. His name is now in the shop window, and we have to see if any move materializes here, even though all the gestures from the player clearly indicates that he wants to stay. The situation hasn't changed much since January, but there are new ingredients that could lead to a movement. Araujo, it is an important player within the Blaugrana locker room, although he has lost his starting spot. The Uruguayan has continued to get quality minutes in important matches, but there is no doubt the Flick starting defensive duo consists of Pau Cubarsí, which is a clear bet, and Íñigo Martinez, a player absolutely untouchable on Flick's system. Sportingly, Araujo might have some doubts, even though Flick want him to continue, especially after the frustrating signing of Jonathan Tah, who stopped waiting for Barcelona and signed for Bayern Munich due to the central defender overbooking here. Deco has made it clear that the central defender should leave because the position is coveted. Inigo, Cubarsí, and Eric Garcia will definitely not move. So all eyes are either on Araujo or Christensen. Logic will point of Christensen's exit, but he only has 1 year left in his contract and his sale wouldn't bring much money. Furthermore, Christensen have not intended leaving the club apparently, and we're going to talk about him in a little bit. But Araujo file is going to definitely take a center stage in this July because of the figure of 60 million euros, which is very attractive in a market given a quality of a center back. There are teams definitely interested, as Juventus definitely maintain contact, and Milan also inquire for him. But from the Premier League, Manchester United would be delighted to sign him, even though the English team have been left out of any major European competitions, making it a less attractive competition. The 60 million figure is manageable for this club, but negotiation will only be activated if the center back open the door for a departure, and that seems to be blocked. Within the Blaugrana club, there is indeed a debate surrounding Araujo. While Flick would like to keep the central defender because of his profile, even though if he's not a starter, the sporting management insists that somebody must leave. And the board doesn't hide that major sale will tremendously help generate income and help out with the salary limit. In fact, it will be vital to register the signing of Nico Williams and other players who might arrive late in August. Araujo could be over 5 to 6 million euros, so a transfer of this dimension will generate exceptional gains. And there will be a lot of noise within the next 15 days, although it's most likely that the Barca captain will want to close the debate sooner rather than later to avoid any speculations. In January, he decided to remain silent until the club made the decision for him to stay, but now he has an improved contract until 2031. And he also doesn't want to leave. I mean, who wants to leave Barcelona? He has a really good relationship with his teammates. In fact, he is one of the most beloved players internally. The controversy with Gondwan last year, who singled him out in the faithful Champions League match against PSG, where he was sent up, and his brief issues with Xavi Hernandez, who have opened the door for him to leave if he continues as a coach. But we know that didn't happen. Now, he doesn't want to play. He doesn't play as many minutes as before, but Flick has won him over by making it clear that he is the fastest center back in the squad, and it also talks about his aerial game, his headers and how much he controls the air. A unique profile in a very balanced squad. Whatever happens, Araujo's future is on his hands. So, and also with this famous clause now place him in the market. His entourage should not have incorporated this exit clause. Now let's move on and talk about Christensen, because he is the other center back who is important here. So the Dane is comfortable in Barcelona and there is no chance of him leaving for another club. The player has a contract until 2026, and despite the club not putting a renewal offer on the table, Christensen will be under Hansi Flick's command at least for one more season. In recent weeks, there has been speculation about his potential departure. First, there was a call from the Saudi club Al Nassr, who inquired about the player's price and offered a much more higher salary that he received in Barcelona. Second, after Deco's word, who left the possibility of an opening opening for a center back to leave. But there is one thing about Christensen that is the player's great commitment, and the Dane wants to finish his contract wearing the Blaugrana shirt. He's happy with the project, and both he and his family wants to stay in Barcelona. The center back again has made it clear that he will say no to any proposed exit. Sportingly, the Dane will have to earn his place in the defensive line with a lot of competition. Pau Cubarsí and Iago Martinez are the starting center backs. We know that, and Araujo will most likely be the third. So if nothing changes between him and Eddie Garcia, they will complete the position. Flick has always spoke very highly of Andreas, and initially he made it clear that he is a high-level player who can perfectly play other positions, such as a pivot. This could be a possibility due to overbooking in the primary position, the center back. The German coach believes that he is a very useful piece who can help the team in various phases of the game throughout the season. Furthermore, he is a player valued by the coaching staff, and it was evident at the end of the last season when he returned from an injury. Christensen, he has his reintegration phase was very difficult at the end of the season due to the injury that he carried out throughout the year. He only played around 259 minutes across 5 matches, not a positive number for a top player with top quality. Overall, it has been a strange season, but Christensen is eager to prove himself and he wants to do it in a Barcelona shirt next season. Another interesting topic here is the file of Pablo Torre. Pablo spoke very openly in an interview during the Spain under-21 national training camp. While he always talked respectfully of Hansi Flick, he was very clear, stated that the German coach has not been fair to him in relegating minutes, in not giving him minutes and relegating him to the sidelines, despite performing well whenever he played and earning more opportunities. His departure is crystal clear for all parties, as for the formula that Barcelona has been doing, which is a transfer fee that allows Barcelona to retain 50% of its rights and a buyback option. All this because the club still believes that the player who will eventually explode due to his quality will become very important. But the situation with Hansi Flick, it is what it is. And after Pablo's word, the best thing for everybody is for this to be resolved soon. Barca is working against the clock and has identified that they believe that whatever destination it should be, while the player entourage doesn't want to rush things, all roads seems to lead to Mallorca, where the Mallorca's coach has shown very strong interest and is playing a significant role here. Also, Osasuna is also in the bidding, has a number of other clubs are lurking on the shadows. As per another exit strategies here, we have a few more players to talk. And Pau Victor is another key player who will most likely to leave. Now the Ansu Fati's loan to Monaco is on track, and Pablo Torre, like we talked about, seems to be on track. The Blaugrana forward Pau Victor will likely depart to get more minutes, and that's the and he has to prove his quality. He's currently choosing his destination, and many of the first division team has inquired with Barcelona about him. And the Blaugrana club is prioritizing again the same operation, which is a sale with a buyback option and 50% of his rights. Our sporting management has already spoke to Pau Victor and opened the doors for him to leave. Even though Hansi Flick is very happy with him, they understand that due to his youth, he needs to play more minutes. And despite having enjoyed the coach confidence, it is best for all parties for him to continue to develop away from Barcelona. Pau Victor is highly valued player in the market, and in the first division, teams like Getafe, Sevilla, Celta, Mallorca, Valencia, Betis, Osasuna, the newly promoted Oviedo have inquired about him. This operation could be more difficult due to the transfer fee involved with this player, which is why it's taking longer. Right now, it seems that Real Betis has the best chances of securing his services, given a good relationship between the two clubs. In fact, the Verde Blanco clubs already opened the door for him last January when his registration seems to be a little bit uncertain. Offer him a solution to play on a loan for 6 months. Ultimately, the player will decide, provided the economic conditions are favorable for Barcelona, and with Betis and Barcelona already carried out such operations like this with Abde and Vito Roque. Betis has also inquired about the Iñaki Peña situation, though that will involve a termination of his contract, which he has 1 more year, and allow him to leave for free in this July. Now, finally, an update on Francisco Trincao, the 25-year-old who is one of the standout players in Sporting Lisbon successful season, contributing 11 goals and 19 assists that were decisive in winning the League Cup and their own particular trophy cup, like Copa del Rey in Portugal. His good performance did not go unnoticed and definitely attracted interest for several English teams. However, his club does not want to let the winger go, and they're already working on a renewal of his contract, which expires in 2027. Barca is waiting for a possible sale of Trincao this summer, as the Blaugrana retained this amazing 50% clause on any future transfer of the Portuguese international. It could have received a significant amount to finalize the squad. However, the latest information indicates a negotiation of extension with Trincao contracts are progressing well, which will confirm his continuity at Sporting Lisbon for next season. Sporting Lisbon is willing to improve Trincao's contractual condition to make it one of the highest paid player in the squad, and they're also considering him to be one of the captains for next season. While we wait to see what happened with Trincao renewal, Barca will continue to hope for any additional income from the Portuguese future transfer. Today, Barcelona have already received 10 million from the Sporting from the Porte already, and 3 million on a loan, and another 7 million for the purchase options. They also pocketed 6 million from his loan at Wolverhampton. That means that Barca has pretty much recovered 16 millions, more or less. These numbers are not totally accurate, but if the attacker continues his upward progression, it would be surprising if Barcelona collect. It wouldn't be surprising if Barcelona doesn't collect more money in the future for any of his sales and ultimately make profit in this operation. Culés, it is definitely a chessboard that is being set, and the pieces are definitely moving. From the strategic exits in the complex situation of Marc-Andre ter Stegen and Ronald Araujo, it is clear that the club is meticulously crafting the future. And again, I sound like a broken record, but it is truly shaping up to be one of the best transfer market of FC Barcelona in recent years. I want to know your thoughts on these decisions facing Hansi Flick as the preseason approaches. Which outgoing transfer do you think is the most crucial for our club? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want to stay on top of all breaking news and analysis of FC Barcelona, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss a single update. You can follow me on Instagram under my childhood nickname Orrutio. Until next time, and Visca Barça.